I monster on the beat, ho, beat, bo, beat, rap, nigga, he a free throw, man, damn, color lambs, tell him free, bro, Nella, nigga, to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hit me, fuck them all in their mama. How many options really got? I mean, there's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass in the Bible, you gotta watch it. You gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boyfriend, I'm running up to school with him. Walking down full time, I know he got some hoe on him. Hold on him, start shit, really the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block one. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, make sure
You know what I'm saying? Aha. Aha. You know what I'm saying? Aha. Hi. Hello. What's going on, man? Hey, how y'all doing? You know, it's me. It's me. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. What's going on, people? It's your grace of those. Jalen, welcome back to the Lazy Cast. Fuck, I ain't said that in a long time. But yeah, man, it's been a minute, man. I feel like fucking Bruce, man. I feel like I'm making my grand return on some shit. But nah, man, what's going on, people? Y'all have not seen my face in quite a while. Won't get too in depth on it. Long story short, I moved again. I think obviously with the changes for me from being in my room to being in this place, people don't even know where I am. I'm at my dad's house. I've been in my dad's house for quite a bit, but finally moved and been in my own place. I'm back here right now, clearing out some last minute stuff. Not last minute stuff, but getting some stuff, and also have a dentist appointment this weekend. And the dentist just so happens to be around the corner from my dad. So why not be in the same place I was? But anyway, yeah. So, and also because my room at my place is not fully set up yet, and I don't want to record and the room looks weird and all this stuff. So I want to record and give you guys the natural, good looking side of me that, you know what I'm saying. But so yeah, that's essentially where I've been. But that doesn't mean I ain't been paying attention, man. The playoffs are coming to an end as the finals are tonight. Tonight. The finals is happening between two teams that one of the teams that I predicted, almost like 5 months ago. I said when a lot of other people weren't heavy or big or anything on this team. I made essentially not two videos, but a whole video dedicated to this certain team, this certain player, backpacking his team to the Western Conference Finals. Not even the fucking finals. I just said that the ceiling for them is making it to the Western Conference Finals because I thought a certain Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving themselves were going to be able to backpack the fucking Mavs to the Western Conference Finals. Mind you, this is before they made the trade. This is before they got PJ Washington, and this is before they got Daniel Gafford. This is before I thought them niggas was gonna go crazy with fucking Grant Williams, Derek Lively. I was really high on him. I like Jason Kidd as a coach, even though a lot of people don't fuck with him. Even though regular season wise, towards the end of the season, he was ass. Came playoff time, he corrected a lot of the mistakes, and the team has done better for it. So shout out to Jason Kidd. But I'm pretty sure y'all saw all that in the beginning of the video. But nevertheless, the finals are here, baby. The finals are here. We got the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, and Kyrie Irving going against the Boston Celtics. Man, this series is going to be phenomenal. First off, I'm not going to spend too much time on the losers of the West and the East in this video. I'm going to make that a whole separate video. And also with the UFC shit, I know, again, I've been watching. I saw Dustin lose. I damn near almost started crying when he was talking about retirement. It was bad. It was bad. But nevertheless, again, all those other videos will be coming later. I just wanted to talk about the finals and also just get my face back in the camera, so y'all can see this face again. Ignore the sideburns. I need my haircut. But I just wanted to get back, used to the rhythm of doing this shit again. So all that shit will be coming later on. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. And my room back at home is almost done too. So you all get to see my new room. So, but anyway, enough about me. We gonna talk about the Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks as they play tonight. And man, I'm very excited for this series. Obviously, this was not the prediction that I had coming into the playoffs. I don't know if you remember from when I made my predictions about the playoffs or when I talked about my predictions. I had the Bucks and the Nuggets making it to the finals. I know that's the bias in me and the Bucks. I thought Dame and Giannis were going to be able to turn it around. Little did I know that Giannis was going to fuck up his knee, Dame was going to be hurt, and the Nuggets was going to lose to the Timberwolves. So I can say that I'm happy to be wrong. I love seeing that. Really, somebody is going to get their new ring, whether it be Luka and Kyrie. Well, Luka's going to get his first ring, or Kyrie's going to get his second, or Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to get. Basically, everyone on Boston side is going to get their first ring. That's basically what's finna happen. I think damn near the entire team over there is about to either get their first ring or lose their second final. So it should be fun. But looking at the preview for tonight, uh, they are in Boston, obviously. Boston being the higher seed will get a lot of the home court advantage. It should be fun, man. Boston, and I'll be getting to Boston later about how their playoff run has been anything but challenging, but just give my opinions and thoughts on Boston as a whole. But yeah, just to get it out the way, instead of trying to make y'all wait, I got Dallas in 6, man. I got Dallas in 6, man. Boston, I think, is the better team. I think Boston defensively, I think, is better. But hey, man, fuck it, Luka. It's Luka, man. Hey, that's the reason that you gonna get. That's the only reason that you need, man. Is Luka and Kyrie. Who you gonna get a ball to in that fourth? Fuck matters. It don't matter. Who you giving that ball to in the fourth quarter, man? Big 7-7, man, and big 11, man. That's all that matters, man. Nah, let me stop. Real answer. I'm leaning towards the Mavs. You really can't even say that the Mavs are the hotter team right now because Boston is also quite on fire right now. They had one of the easiest playoff runs that we've seen in a very long time. One of the more dominant playoff runs that we've seen in a very long time, since maybe 2 years ago when the Warriors made their way to the finals back in 2022. And Dallas, why not the easiest, but definitely one of the more challenging runs. They've been battle tested really since round one, if you want to be honest. And they've just gotten better and better and better and gotten tighter and gotten closer as a unit. And you've seen it with Luka, who really in the beginning of the playoffs was not playing good. Luka in the beginning of the playoffs in that Clipper series wasn't playing that great. He really wasn't. It wasn't until the second round. He had his moments. Don't mind you, he had his moments. But it wasn't until the second round of the playoffs when they went against the Thunder that Luka really started to turn it up. And then once they played the Timberwolves, Luka was there. It was over with. Hurt or not, busted up knee or not, fucked up toe or not, whatever. Injured 100%, 60%. It didn't matter. That nigga Luka was here to stay. And it also helps that outside of the Derek Lively concussion, which I think he will be here tonight. At least I hope so, because that will be a big gap in their defense as a whole if they don't have Derek Lively tonight, because Kristaps is going to be back tonight. So, yeah. But outside of Derek Lively with, catching the knee to the back of the head by, what was it, from Cat, the Dallas Mavericks have been relatively healthy. And I think that's been doing wonders for them, obviously. They've been phenomenal. They've been great. Again, like I said, they've been playing great in that clutch game, in that clutch gene. When you have two of the best closers in all of basketball, you have arguably two of the best closers in all of basketball history, let alone just right now in the game. But you have a Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, two dudes that you can go to in that fourth quarter when the game is within 5 or 6 points, and it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes left in the fourth, and you need them to get a quick bucket, quick stop. Hey man, what better dudes do you want to get a ball to? And then you have a PJ Washington who you can stick on the best team's best offense, on the other team's best offensive player. He can shoot the three. He's physical. He's do the hustle shit. Same thing with Daniel Gafford. He's not the 3-point shooter that PJ Washington, obviously, but he'll get you the rebounds. He'll get you the blocks. He can catch lobs. He can do everything you want him to do. Same thing with a Derek Lively. Literally, Derek Lively is just a younger fucking Daniel Gafford. He's just a rookie version of Daniel Gafford. That's really it. I think probably a little bit more athletic than Daniel, but even then, phenomenal defensively, runs the floor, gives you a ton of effort, a ton of effort. And man, this team again has been phenomenal. Jason Kidd has got these boys cooking, man. And Tim Hardaway Jr. haven't even showed up yet. Don't let Tim Hardaway Jr. get hot. God forbid, let Tim Hardaway Jr. start cooking from fucking three. Don't let that nigga get hot. Don't let Jaden Hardy get hot. Don't let these other players that they have, Maxi Kleber, get hot from three. And then on top of that, still having a Luka Doncic and a fucking Kyrie Irving that can facilitate and also get their own shot if they want to. And also been playing really good defense. I know the biggest critique for a lot of European players is that they don't play defense outside of a Giannis and Rudy and I guess Joel as well. But they don't really play defense. But Luka and Kyrie, them niggas have been defending they ass off. They've been playing some really good defense. So shout out Luka, shout out Kyrie, shout out this entire Dallas Mavericks team. They've been playing some really good basketball. Now, all the love that I showed Dallas, I'm going to reciprocate it and give it to Boston. As much heat and as much as hate that Boston has been receiving these playoffs, man, oh fucking man, it's been crazy. You would think that everyone and their mama hates Boston, and I don't think that's the case. You would think everybody and their mama hates Jason Tatum. I don't think that's the case either. It's a mixed emotion about things. I think their run, again, like I mentioned, to the playoffs was not the most challenging or even the most difficult. But when are we going to have this conversation that availability is the best ability? It is not their fucking fault that Jimmy Butler got hurt in the playoffs. I mean, in the play-in, not even the playoffs. It is not their fault that Jared Allen was hurt in the series prior and that Donovan Mitchell went out for the last two games. It's not their fault. And it's not their fault that Tyrese Halliburton got hurt with the last two games. It's not their fault. It's not. I don't know what you want them to do. And the thing is, they weren't 100% healthy either. People gonna say, "Oh, they were only missing Kristaps Porzingis." Kristaps Porzingis is a big fucking part of their offense and their defense, probably more the defense than offense. And they were missing him since the first round. He was gone for the rest of the fucking playoffs. And they carried on like nothing happened. Like they didn't have a Kristaps Porzingis on their fucking roster. And they kept playing phenomenal and dominant basketball. Like I said, man, this Boston team is getting a lot of hate. It is rightfully so. Again, the whole playoff run, Mickey, whatever. I get it. Again, I'm not sitting here to try to defend Boston. I'm not finna sit here and try to be Boston's biggest number one fan because I'm not. I don't like Boston. Let me scratch that. I don't like Boston's fans. Boston fans, y'all niggas be turning me off from y'all team. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all niggas are very annoying and a little racist. But that's the story for another day. Regardless, I get it. But let's not ignore the fact that Jason Tatum is having one of his best playoff runs, averaging 26 and putting up 30 in the Eastern Conference Finals, along with Jaylen Brown, who was the Larry Bryan Trophy winner against essentially the Eastern Conference MVP of that series, who also put up 30. Derek White, who's been fucking phenomenal since the first series against Miami. Drew Holiday, who's finally found his shot again, all regular season long has been kind of struggling. Defense hasn't slowed down, but his shot has been abysmal. Really, since that second series, he's been shooting the lights out, and it got even better in this Indiana series. So I talked a lot of shit about Drew Holiday because him and Chris Middleton last season were really the only motherfuckers I was available while Giannis was hurt, and they kind of shit the bed. So I was like, he's just gonna go to Boston and shit the bed. And he kind of did in the regular season, but he's turning it up in the playoffs, and that's really when it matters. So I like Drew Holiday. I want to see him succeed, even though it's gonna sting to see if he does win this trophy. Does win it, Finals MVP, not Finals MVP, but does win the finals with another green team being the Boston Celtics. That's gonna sting just a fucking little bit, but nevertheless, he's still a great guy. I like Tatum. I like Brown. I like the team. I like Kristaps. This is a fun team, dude. It's a great team. It's one of the better teams, really the best team still in the playoffs, regardless about how you feel about them. So please give both these teams your flowers, regardless of how you feel, regardless if your team is still in the playoffs, whether you're a Dallas fan or a Boston fan, or whether or not your team got eliminated, or whether or not your team didn't even make the fucking playoffs. Give both of these teams your flowers, respectfully so, because regardless of whose path was harder than the others, these niggas been playing their ass off, both sides of the ball. And it's going to be a good ass series. Regardless of that, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes 7. I'm not going to lie to you. I would not be surprised if this series goes to 7. I also wouldn't be surprised if Boston just comes out and lays dick on these niggas. I'm not going to lie to you. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston beats these niggas in 5. It wouldn't shock me. That would probably shock a lot of people because it's Luka, it's Kyrie, Dallas has been crazy. But also forget that Boston is just that good of a fucking team. I wouldn't be shocked if these niggas come out and beat them in 5. And I also wouldn't be shocked if they come out and beat them in 7. I really feel like this is a toss-up of a series. You pick who you want. You know, if you really want to go with the best team, you really want to go with this team, that team, whatever the case may be. I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer in this. You know, it's not that lopsided of a series, say like how it was back when the Cavs and the Warriors were playing each other and fucking KD was on the Warriors. It was like we knew KD and the Warriors were gonna win. It's just how many fucking games they were gonna win. So, but like that said, I just have a little bit more faith in Kyrie and Luka and the Mavs when it comes to that fourth quarter because I don't think a lot of games. I'll be shocked if really more than like 2 games are blowouts. And Boston does have a tendency of not protecting home court. You would think a team that won, I think they won like 60 something games, damn near 64, 65 games, or whatever the case may be. You would think that they would be a lot better at home. But come playoff time, they've been giving up a lot of games, or they've been very close to giving up a lot of games at home. So with Dallas, who has a tendency of stealing games on people's home court with the infamous Luka shot over Rudy Gobert in Minnesota in Game 3, I would not be shocked if the same thing happens tonight because Boston has a tendency of not protecting home court. So, with that being said, also, with that being said, Boston is one of the better road teams in all the playoffs, and they can easily steal that same game that they lost at home right back, probably twice over in Dallas. So, but I think the biggest difference maker for each series, for each team in this series, excuse me, I think the biggest difference maker for each team is going to be the team's secondary, their second best player, I guess you should say. The biggest difference for the Mavs is easily going to be Kyrie Irving. Luka can go put up a 40-point triple double, but if Kyrie Irving, who has been not on all playoffs, but he's had some moments where he's thrown up some stinkers here and there. If he's not on for majority of the games, they're not winning this series. They will get swept. Period. Point blank. Boston is not fucking around with these niggas. And if JB is not the JB that we've been seeing, especially for last series or the series prior to that, that motherfucker is going. Boston is going to have a very hard time, and they're probably going to lose in 6. And they're fucking around might lose in 5. So I think the star players, however, are the team's best players, the Luka and Jason Tatum's. I think those motherfuckers are going to be battling out. I think they're going to be phenomenal. I think Luka's numbers are going to look better than Jason Tatum's. I don't think that's I think Luka's numbers have always looked better than Tatum's. Like for the people that saying, well, Luka's better, and I do think Luka's better than Tatum, but for the people say, well, just look at his numbers. This guy's better than this. Jason Tatum has not had to really do the same type of output that Luka does because Luka has been by himself for quite a long time. It wasn't until he had a Jalen Brunson where he was able to rely on someone else. It wasn't until he had a Kyrie Irving where he was able to rely on somewhere else while still being phenomenal. Tatum, however, has not had that really to struggle and be by himself. He was already into a situation where he really didn't need to do much. He can really just pick his shots well, not force anything while being great defensively, being solid. Only things he really needed to work on was just picking his shots better, percentage wise, defense, and passing the ball. And I feel personally, me, from watching the games and watching Tatum, he's done those things. He has his moments here and there, but I think he has done those things. So I think numbers wise, if you're just going to be watching this series off the box score, Luka is going to look better than Tatum. I don't think that. I think that's if you're just going to go base your opinion off that, then just don't even watch the series. Don't even talk about the debate of who's better between the two or like who had the better series. Because if you're just going to go strictly off numbers, just whatever then, because Luka's always had better numbers. Luka has damn near better numbers than half the fucking league. He has a better number. He had better numbers this year than fucking reigning MVP. A 3-time MVP, Luka has better numbers than in Nikola Jokic. But we're not gonna have this conversation of, oh, Luka's always been better than Jokic. No. Again, and I'm not. This is not an advocate for me saying that Tatum is better than Luka because I don't think that's the case. I'm just saying let's watch the game. I think in terms of putting the output that those two are going to be putting out, I think it's going to be around them. They're the same. Luka may have to do a little bit more because he's the team's offense, but I think Tatum will be also very good in this series. I think Tatum will also damn near be putting up 30. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if him and Luka are damn near putting up like 37 and 6. Luka probably put up 30, 10 and 10. Jason's probably putting up 37 and 6. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be. Probably gonna shock a lot of other people, but not me because I like Tatum. But yeah, like I said, I have Mavs in 6. I just trust them more again come playoffs. I mean, come crunch time. I think a lot of these games will be closer. I think it won't be that many blowout games, and if it is, I think it'll be more. The blowout games will be more on Boston's side opposed to Dallas's side. Because Dallas really don't blow niggas out like that. It's they kind of let you hang around, and once that fourth quarter come, they just sort of take off. But with Boston, they've kind of done that thing too, where they kind of play down to the competition. For the past 3 series that they did, they kind of played down to the competition a little bit. So we'll see, man. But scratch all that. Enough with all that. I want to go a little bit more in depth on these teams, strictly just about their runs in the playoffs. And with that being said, let's start out. Let's start out with the number 1 seeded Boston Celtics. Oops. Let's start out with the number 1 seeded Boston Celtics. As we know, Boston, they did win 64 games. Okay. As we know, Boston coming out last series swept the Pacers in 4 games. Again, defensively, they've been phenomenal. The 3-headed monster, really 4-headed monster on the perimeter with the Derek White, Jason Tatum, and the Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday, who's not right here. But in terms of defensive rating and offensive rating, they've been the best offensively rated team and essentially the second to third best defensive rated team in the league. Shoot the ball tremendously. They've been great all series long. It's really, again, it's really hard to argue that this team has not been dominant. And if we want to look at the playoff numbers, they've been they've been phenomenal. Tatum and Brown are basically be putting up identical fucking numbers. Tatum putting up 26 a game, Brown putting up 25 a game with really solid shooting splits. Brown putting up a little bit more better shooting splits with 54% to Tatum's 44. Jrue Holiday, like I mentioned earlier, has been shooting the ball particularly well, putting up 40, close to 49% from three and almost 40 from the three, with 12, damn near 13 points per game. Excuse me. And Derek White, who has been damn near their third best player. You could argue maybe even second best player, whatever. Putting up phenomenal stats and phenomenal numbers on 47% from the field, 40 from the three, 41 from the three, mind you, with 80, damn near 90% from the three. From the free throw line, with 5 assists, 4 boards, a steal, and a block. And the stats don't do him justice because his defense that he plays on that perimeter has been phenomenal. Just go ask Tyrese Halliburton how fucking hard it was to go to switch off from being guarded by Jrue Holiday and then switch off to being guarded by Derek fucking White. Yeah, that his defense don't do him justice. The stats for his defense don't do him justice. And also, I know it only says the 4 games, but having this guy back is, I think, going to be the biggest benefactor for this Celtics team. Obviously, having Kristaps Porzingis, 7'2" big, who can stretch the floor, block shots, work around that perimeter / mid-range area. And before he got hurt, he was fairly decent, putting up some solid, respectable numbers. He was really trying to get back into the flow of things. But also, man, we know what Kristaps does. In the regular season, he was also phenomenal as well. Damn near it was arguments about who was really the second best player, and him or Jaylen Brown. But I think it's fairly clear that JB is the second best player on this team. Shit, ask some niggas, he's the best player on the team. But, like I mentioned, man, this team has been phenomenal. This team has been phenomenal, man. Looking at, and I was reading off the regular season stats. Look, it gets even better reading off their playoff stats in terms of 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, reading defense, damn near first, everything, blocks, steals, assists, rebound. Like, they're top 10 in basically every single statistical category that you want to name. Like, I don't think they're outside the top 10 in any category. Positive. Like, they're inside the top 10 category of everything outside of opponent's field goal percent. A field goal makes and field goals attempted, which I don't really care about. But yeah, man, this Boston team, I really don't want niggas to sleep on this Boston team, because I know that their playoff run, like I mentioned, has not been the greatest, or has not been anything to marvel at. But like I said, man, when we keep having this conversation about availability being the best ability, availability is the best ability, blah, da, 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 da. But when are we going to actually have that fucking conversation, or actually have that be like, you know what I'm saying? When are we actually going to respect that fucking conversation? Because until then, we're going to keep having these type of debates. We're going to keep having these type of issues where, well, they didn't play any fucking body. They beat a hobbled up Heat team. They beat a Cavs team that who thought the Cavs were going to beat the Celtics. And then they beat a Pacers team that didn't have Tyrese. And they, like, bro, like I mentioned earlier, it is not their fault that Jimmy Butler got hurt in the play-in. It's not their fault that Jared Allen got hurt in this series. And also, it's not their fault that fucking Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. Same thing with the Pacers. Even though they beat my Bucks, it is not their fault that Dame was damn near in and out of the lineup every single game. Chris Middleton was playing on one fucking leg. And Giannis got hurt before the series. It's not their fault. And it's not their fault that the Knicks were damn near running 6-man lineups every single fucking night. It's not their goddamn fault. It's not. It is not their fault that their team was healthy. It's not. And even then, their team, like I mentioned, was not the healthiest. They were without one of their best players, arguably their third best player in Kristaps Porzingis. So let's chill. Let's chill. Because if we really want to get nasty, if we really want to do that, I can bring up 2 motherfucking years ago, when the Warriors had one of the easiest cakewalks to the fucking finals. And yet you rarely hear anyone talking about that because, oh, Curry made it to the finals without KD, so that's all that matters. That's some bullshit. That's bullshit. And I'm calling cap on that because no one said anything when the Warriors beat a fucking Jokic and friends teams, when it was just Jokic and no one else. No one said anything when the Warriors beat a Grizzlies team that was very young and inexperienced. No one also didn't say anything when they beat the same Mavs team, not this same Mavs team, but beat Luka and the Mavs when it was just Luka and friends. And they beat them niggas handily because, they were young and had no fucking body else besides Luka. But niggas don't say nothing about that fucking championship run. Why? Because it's Curry and the Warriors, and niggas like the Warriors, and niggas like Curry, and niggas like that Curry got a ring without Kevin Durant again. Stop being so picky and choosy, man. Stop picking and choosing when y'all want to use shit. Stop picking and choosing when y'all want to use context for shit. Stop it. It makes y'all niggas look dumb. And it makes it seem like that you niggas, the same thing I've been saying ever since I created this fucking YouTube channel. Fans don't like the sport that they claim to be fans of. Basketball niggas, NBA fans, you niggas don't like the sport. Football niggas, y'all don't like the sport. If you really, really want to get nasty, you pro wrestling niggas don't like wrestling. Y'all don't. If it doesn't fit your narrative of what you want the sport to go, fuck it. You don't like it. And if someone else likes the shit that they're going away, you're a casual. You this. You don't know real sports. You don't know real basketball. You don't know football. You don't know real pro wrestling. That shit is so annoying. Stop it. You niggas don't know what the fuck you want. And that's just clear as day. And you niggas don't want to admit it because y'all so stuck in y'all fucking ways. And that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. Just admit it. Stop trying to pick and choose when y'all want shit to go y'all way and when y'all want to use context for certain things and this, that, and the nature. Stop. That's all I'm going to say. Is stop. I had to go on that quick little tangent, man, but like that should be annoying, man. That should be annoying, man. It really do. It really do, man. It really do. But with that being said, big ups to the Boston Celtics, man. Really big ups to them. Again, I'm not here to defend Boston. I'm not here to say, well, actually, I'm not here to do none of that shit. I'm not. Boston did what they were supposed to do. They played who was in front of them, and they got the job done quite handily. Some games they made it a little bit more entertaining than it need to be, but they got the job done regardless. So let's just dead it and leave it at that. If you don't like Boston, if you don't like them niggas because your own agendas and that thing, that's cool. But let's not try to discredit everyone. All right, let's not try to do that, bro. Let's not try to do that. Let's not. And am I not agreeing? Am I disagreeing and saying that their run is not easy, or that their run has had little to no challenges? Hell no. That run has been Mickey. It has been. Their run has been fairly easy compared to Dallas's run. It's been way easier than Dallas's run. That's pointing out the obvious. And if you're doing that, I have no problem with it. But if you're going to use that argument of like they didn't face nobody really, they just taking advantage of having a weak schedule, a week this, week that, week east, like what the fuck do you want them to do? They're playing the people that's in front of them. They can't do anything about it. Stop. That shit is annoying, bro. But like I said, man, big ups to Dallas. Big ups to Boston. And also, another thing, let's not act like niggas was not saying this like before the playoffs even started. Niggas was saying that Boston wasn't going to face a real team or a real challenge until either the Eastern Conference Finals, if they played the Milwaukee Bucks, which they didn't, or once they reached the NBA Finals, once they played a Western Conference team. Niggas been saying this for months before the playoffs even started. Niggas been saying that for a long ass time. A long ass time. So let's not sit like and act like this is brand new fucking news. And this is just brand new out the war. It's like, oh man, I didn't think Boston, the East was this week. Like, nigga, yes, you did. Did you really think the Knicks was gonna do something? Did you really think the Cavs were gonna do something? The only other team that realistically had a chance to do something was Milwaukee, and even then, niggas weren't believing in them fully. I picked the Bucks because that's my team, but I didn't believe it fully. If they were going to face Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, it was going to be a fucking dogfight. It would have easily went to 7 if the team was healthy. But guess what? The team wasn't healthy. So let's stop. But on to more, I guess, positive, more, you know, positive news, I guess, whatever the fuck. Dallas Mavericks, a team that I predicted 5 months ago would be in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep patting myself on the back for that because you know what I'm saying, I'm just really that good for real. You know what I'm saying? I'll just let me stop. But shifting our focus over to the Western Conference as we see Dallas's run to the NBA Finals, having to go against a very talented Clippers team, beating them in 6. Luka, again, like I mentioned, didn't have the best series. He shot the ball relatively poorly. It was really the others and Kyrie Irving that really elevated that team and essentially carried Luka to the second round because his knee was all banged up and he was just not fully 100% there. And it was really the Kyrie Irving show. PJ Washington was phenomenal in that series as well. Derek Lively really came alive and all that stuff. So yeah, it was really the others that really carried this team past the first round. Man, imagine if Luka and them would have lost this series and Luka had a stinker of a series. Oh man, the fucking narrative that would have been flying out the mouth. And then moving on, facing the number 1 seeded Thunder team, one of the best teams uh, in all of not only the Western Conference, but in all of the NBA, beating them in 6. Again, this is when Luka started to get his legs back under him. He started to come alive again. Kyrie was still Kyrie Irving. Obviously, the final game that ended with Shea fouling PJ Washington on the 3-point line, which essentially ended this Thunder season and ended the series as a whole. It was a really good series. Again, the team, like I mentioned, just clicking on all cylinders. Lob City 2.0, man, the lobs that Dallas have. And I think this is what really is Boston is really going to be thankful that they have Kristaps back because he has the ability to try and shut those lobs down because even then, they had Minnesota. They had 2 7-foot tall giants that couldn't even stop that shit. And the Mavs I ran through teams that have solid bigs from Chet to Rudy and Cat, and now they're going against KP and Al Horford. I don't know, man. We'll see if they can continue those type of lobs and type of paint presence that they've had really all playoffs long. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do going forward. Obviously, they beat the Thunder, a very tough, hard-fought, tough series. And then obviously the series that just ended, Minnesota, beating Minnesota in 5. I wouldn't even want to say their easiest series because, again, this series was also very, very tough. This series was also very tough. Obviously, everyone remembers, the game 3 where Luka went crazy. Game winning shot over Rudy Gobert, had that man twirling around on some fucking skates. Good God, that man Rudy was in trouble. But yeah, man, this was really just the Luka and Kyrie show. The others really didn't even need to show up. The PJ Washington, while yes, they were needed, but it was really just a Luka and Kyrie show. The game, the Mavs, the Timberwolves would get close and they would have the game close in the fourth quarter, even choking some leads, a couple leads, mind you. And like I said, you really can't ask for any better closers that you have in a Luka Doncic and a Kyrie Irving in that fourth quarter with 3, 4, hell, 2 minutes left in the game, and you're down by like 6, 7 points. Those dudes can rattle off 10 by themselves in like 30 seconds while also giving effort on defense, and Jason Kidd having those defensive stoppers around him. I'd even mention a fucking Derrick Jones Jr., who's been shooting the ball well and also playing good defense as well. Like, they've been really, really good, man. They've been a solid, solid team. So yeah, man. And to even look at the Mavs, like how I did Boston, let's look at their stats just based off the playoffs alone. Again, from top to bottom, if we even go off strictly just playoff numbers, really not outside the top 10 of any important numbers in terms of field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throws made. Free throw percentage is weird. Like, these can't nobody on this fucking team shoot a free throw. But I think hopefully they'll figure that out. But in terms of rebounding, you have a three-headed monster in a PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and a Daniel Gafford, who's been phenomenal inside the paint. Assists, their top 10 steals, been top 10 blocks, top 10, top 5. I mean, like, they've been really, really good. And even at the team that really wasn't known for its defense, they've been phenomenal in terms of defense. Top 10 in defensive point, top 10 in points on the defensive side of the ball. They've been really, really good in terms of defensive reboundings, field goal percentage, and shit like that. They've been a really solid team, man. And it's hard. It's gonna be a dogfight of a series. And if you want to even go look at some of the numbers, again, I think that first series really tore down his numbers quite a bit. But looking at just based off the Thunder and the Minnesota series, Luka has been phenomenal, putting up damn near 30 a game with 30 on 10 and 9. Also, damn near 2 steals and half a block a game. His free throw percentage has gone up. Luka is not one of the, not well known for his free throw percentage, but he's got that up to around 81%. So that's also a good sign. Kyrie Irving, who's been phenomenal these playoffs, damn near 49% from the field, 42% from three. Around 4 rebounds, 5 assists, also a steal, close to half a block, and also 23 points. PJ Washington has been phenomenal, almost averaging 14 points per game, shooting well from the field and mainly the 3-point line, shooting 36% from the three. That's gone down a little bit because he's had games where he's been kind of not as consistent. And I think that's what will eventually fuck up Dallas, is if they have if PJ and Derrick Jones don't have solid series in terms of shooting the three ball well, if a Josh Green struggles from the three and isn't able to pick it up, if a Jaden Hardy, TJ Hardaway, who hasn't really had the greatest playoffs this year, they would really need somebody else outside of really these two to really step up in terms of them being good. Or not only being good, but for them to really win this championship, which I think they can do. Based just off of these 5 alone, I think they have a really solid chance, but also having a Derek Lively back also, I think, helps them a lot. Like I said, Josh Green and Tim Hardaway and Jaden Hardy, I think they really need to step it up. And also Dante Exum, who shot the ball well in the regular season in terms of shooting the ball from the three. Like, where's Dante? He shot 49% from the three in the regular season. So, I mean, hey, man. And where's Tim Hardaway also, I think, shot the ball really well in the regular season too, around 35, 36%, while putting up 14 points. So, yeah, I think if they want to win this series, they're going to need a little bit more help from not only PJ and Derek to shoot the ball a little bit better and also play phenomenal defense on Tatum and, Brown and KP now that he's back. But they're going to need some help from Josh Green. They're going to need some help from Tim Hardaway. And they're going to need some help from Jaden. They don't have to, shoot 75% from three, but they're going to need to up that percentage a little bit. Tim Hardaway, that 32%, probably not going to cut it. Jaden Hardy shooting 40, I like it, but the punt's probably going to have to go up a little bit more. Just shit like that, So, like I said, man, this series is going to be one for the ages. I'm really, really excited for this series. I'm just excited. I'm excited to have good parity basketball, and that one of these young players is gonna get their first ring. And by one of these, I mean Luka or Tatum. Luka or Tatum is gonna get their first ring. And if Luka wins, the narrative is gonna be pushed that he's the best player in the league. If Tatum wins, he is a consensus top 5 player in the league, and he's still probably gonna get trashed because Boston cakewalked everybody. But regardless, can't cut that man anymore. Can't even give that man any more credit that he deserves. And even then, you have a Jason Kidd who a lot of people was calling for his job during the regular season. People was lumping him in with fucking Darvin Ham of all people, saying he was a shit coach. He was a failure as a coach, and they should have fired him a long time ago. But he's really shown that he's been solid this year, and specifically in the playoffs. Same thing with a Daniel Gafford. He's been phenomenal ever since he left Washington. Daniel Gafford ever since he's left Washington. PJ Washington ever since he's left Charlotte has been phenomenal. Kyrie Irving, everyone knows what's been going on with Kyrie, not recently, but his past with the media and the Brooklyn days and the Boston days, and to see him now happy just playing basketball and being alongside Luka, having fun in Dallas. Part of me really just wants Dallas to win for like the stories and just because the feel-good moment. I also think if Boston win, I think it would also still be a lot of feel-good moments. Tatum to get his first win, Brown is get his first win. Al Horford, after being in the league for like 60 fucking years, is going to get his first ring. KP will get his first ring. I've been a big fan of him since the Knick days. So yeah, man, this is just going to be a good series, man. I think regardless of anything, yes, my team is not in it, meaning the Bucks. But regardless of that, I think regardless of who wins, this is going to be a good series, and I think this will be a fun series. Again, like I said, I would not be shocked if Boston beats Dallas in 5 because I just think they're just that dominant of a team, and people are just really underrated them, and they just don't want to see them win. And I also wouldn't be shocked if this series goes to 7 and Dallas edges them out because Dallas is just that good of a fucking team in the clutch. But fuck what I think. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I know y'all have not seen my face in such a long time. I know. But I promise to be more consistent again. The whole move thing and trying to set up my room and, getting, all that stuff, that's really been the only reason. And also starting up work and shit like that. So, but nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed. More videos to come. Again, I'll get more in depth in the teams that lost. I'll get more in depth in the teams that lost, like Philly, New York, Clippers, Minnesota, etc. Giving my thoughts on them individually as a team, as a whole, just essentially breaking down what I think about all those teams and where they go from here. And also UFC is coming, man. UFC 303 is literally around the corner, and we will see Conor McGregor fight for what feels like 30 years. We have not seen that man fight in a long time. But I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for sticking by me, and thank y'all so much for being supportive. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. This is being gracious host Jalen, and thank you again for tuning in to the Lazy Cast.
My sleeve ain't got enough room, gotta keep a few tricks up there. Caltech switch with the silencer kid, gotta keep it on cause the kids upstairs. Shut the fuck up when a real nigga talking, shut the fuck up when a real nigga walking. I know they type when a little nigga log in, then we roll up like Stephen Hawking. I don't play games, I go outside. I don't say names, I go outside. I ain't tryna scream in the club, make a scene, there's a lot of phone screens, let's go outside. Big bank channel, my chain got a chain. In the rafters, my name gotta hang. I'm the only rapper in my lane, got a lane, but fuck it, I'm swerving my swing.